Mr. Cannon, did you know that next month is our 1 year? Are you okay?
Yeah. Just interrupting you.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Did you know next month is our 1 year anniversary of the podcast?
I did know that.
1 year.
That's not bad.
It's kind of special. I mean, about a year ago, over a year ago, we had the thought, the initial thought for the podcast. Never thought I would be a podcaster, but here we are recording in my room talking about poker.
It's pretty fun.
It is. It's exciting.
Yeah, I remember last year, the first episode we released happened in September, right after the WSOP circuit in Iowa.
Yep.
We had recorded a few beforehand, obviously, but
we were trying to stack episodes. I remember listening back to these and how uncomfortable we were talking into a mic. It's funny how it's completely changed. I'm just, we've done this so many times now that we're just very comfortable with it now. Whereas when I first started, I was listening back to every detail and super kind of, in my head about it.
Some of the early stuff, I remember you told me you spent hours editing.
Yeah, because I was just I don't know. I just, I was very uncomfortable. And, you know what I mean? And, but now it's just, I barely even touch these things anymore. It is what it is. If you guys think I'm an idiot, I'm an idiot. Whatever.
No, of course you're not an idiot.
That seemed so genuine.
Sincere,
yeah. So anyways, let's get into the episode today, Wes. We have a pretty cool topic today where we're going to break down a couple hands. You picked a hand, and I'm going to, I reviewed it, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on how it was played. And then I picked a hand, and you're going to do the same thing. And we're going to see how our thought process compares in poker. Obviously, we've, trained, studied, talked, and played a lot of poker together. So I bet there will be some overlap here.
There will be, yeah. There will be some definite overlap. I think
from stuff we've learned together, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there are spots where there are tough spots in both hands, and I'll be interested to see how we compare on those spots.
I think you'll see though how our styles differ in the way we think about what are the first things that come to our head when during the action. Our thought process essentially. While it has overlap. I think we'll see some differences there, and then obviously some similarities. But before we get into those hands, let's do our usual plugs. You ready?
Ready.
All right. So Discord. If you haven't yet, make sure to check out our Discord. We have almost 200 members. I think we're at 193, 194.
It was 194.
194. Get in there. I want to get 200 members, please. Just join our Discord by clicking on the never expiring link on our Twitter. That's at Suited Kings Pod, P-O-D at the end there, Suited Kings Pod. It used to be at Deuce Nukem. I said this in the last episode, but for those of you that didn't hear it, it's transitioned to the Suited Kings Podcast Twitter now, so at Suited Kings Pod. Everything Suited Kings that we do will be, shared through there. So make sure to follow that if you haven't yet. And then you can find me on my own personal Twitter. I created a new one at Deuce Nukem. You can find Wes at Pitcher Cannon, pitcher as in a baseball pitcher. And from there, give us feedback. Join in on the hand discussions. So much to get out of that. That's just completely free value. So make sure to hop in there. Secondly, Wes?
Yeah, so the other link that you'll see on both of our accounts is the affiliate link we have to Clubs Poker. So we've talked about Clubs Poker a bit in the past, but we did have one meetup game. Now we're going to continue to have. It was for those of you that weren't there.
This is your chance.
This is your chance. But we had a Discord call going for everyone who wanted to talk shit to each other during it.
There was a lot of that.
There was a lot.
But it's all in good fun. No one was getting upset. It was all in sportsmanship,
absolutely.
Kind of.
So we are actually, for the next meetup game, and probably all of these subsequent ones, I think we're going to be doing them every 2 weeks now.
Every 2 weeks, we're planning on having a meetup game.
So now, on top of just the ring game, we're also going to have a tournament going for 55 sweeps coins. And I think we're going to have rebuys too. So
that's really good because I know a lot of our listeners, and you and I, obviously we play cash, but we're primarily tournament players, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our listeners are as well. Obviously there's a bunch of cash game players in there as well. We do discuss that, but I would say that a lot of you would enjoy hopping into this. So it's a $55 sweeps coin tournament with rebuys.
With rebuys.
Unlimited?
I don't know if we've fully decided that yet. I think it will be up to a certain, maybe within an hour of registration or however it's going to work out. But yeah, I mean, my thought was a lot of our Discord, a lot of our listeners are more of tournament players. A lot of our content revolves more around tournaments. And I know a lot of people play similar types of tournaments on other sites. So, I asked if we could get a tournament going. And I know we did that poll in the Discord too.
You know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
So to whoever wins our inaugural tournament,
Yeah.
if they're in our Discord, I'm going to give them a special tag so their name will have a unique color compared to everybody
like
else's,
that.
and I'll give them the title of home game champ or Suited Kings home game champion.
Maybe
until
the
next person wins.
A green tag.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So and then you get all the
Yeah.
whatever you get with it. Probably nothing, but you get a color change name. There you go.
Lastly, so I don't know if we can do this for the ring game, but for the tournament, it is going to be Suited Kings only. So it's going to be password protected. I will post that on the Discord. I will post that on Twitter for everyone.
Make sure to join that game with us. I think Wes will give us a date here, but we want you in there. I mean, if we can get a lot of people in there, it will be like probably their biggest tournament they've ever ran yet. Because I know their tournaments aren't too big yet. They're they're in their early stages. So
we're gonna up their tournament game.
We want to show them how much tournaments players want this. So let's get in there and get that. I mean, I'll be buying in maybe a couple times.
Unless you get lucky on the first all in.
We'll see if I spew like I did in last week's ring game, but I'm going to be there and I'm going to be splashing, so it'll be fun.
It'll be a lot of fun. And so the last thing is this game is next Tuesday, August 13th. At 6:30 p.m. is when the tournament is going to start. 6:30 Central Time.
6:30 Central next, you said?
Tuesday, August 13th.
Tuesday, August 13th, 6:30 p.m. Make sure to hop in there. Do we know what the password is yet?
I think we do, but I don't have it in front of me right now.
We'll put it into our Discord. So make sure to get into our Discord or send me a message on Twitter or whatever. We'll get you the password.
I'm almost certain it's SK0813, just Suited Kings and then the date.
Okay.
But I will confirm that.
All right, yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'd like to share that with people. It's going to be tough for them to play if they don't know the password. But yeah, okay. Well, that's cool. And I think that's all I have for now. You ready to get into some of this?
Let's do it, yeah. So the difference, what we're doing with this episode is a little bit less of a back and forth discussion all the way through the hand. What we're going to do is, so we're going to start with the hand and Max will give his analysis of it all the way through. Then I'll do the same, and then we'll talk about the differences after. But I think the idea here is to not bias our response, not change anything about our own thoughts until after the...
Based on what, so like I might not agree with you after you've agreed with something. Just essentially give our pure thoughts.
Yeah.
Pure thoughts, no bias.
Start with our own thoughts, yep, and then we'll discuss after.
Okay. Do you want to give so you chose the first hand, I chose the second hand. Do you want to read the history and then I'll just go through my thoughts on it?
Yeah, let's do that. So the first hand...
Oh, and by the way, these are WSOP main event hands from this year.
Correct.
So at the different stages of the tournament, that we both just chose interesting hands that we thought would be fun to talk about.
Yeah, so this hand is between Brian Rast and then, I don't know the guy's first name, but Machado. It was at the featured table.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think this was day 5.
It's 50K BB, so I was guessing 5 as well. I've never made it to day 5, but...
Yeah, I think this is day 5. So blinds are 25K, 50K, 50K. Rast with 1.9 million under the gun plus 1 opens to 115K with ace deuce of diamonds. So he starts with 38 bigs and he makes it 2.3x. It folds around to Machado in the big blind. He's got 9.7 million.
Is that 194 bigs?
That is exactly correct.
Holy shit.
That's a lot.
Imagine being on day 5 of the main with almost 200 bigs.
It's a lot of bigs.
Holy cow. So Rast has 38 bigs. Machado has 194.
He has a lot.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So he calls with ace 10 of clubs. So it's ace deuce of diamonds for Rast in early position, ace 10 of clubs in the big blind for Machado. Flop comes 10 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 4 of spades. It goes check. Rast bets 155K. So about half pot. Machado calls.
Just to verify, Machado has top pair, top kicker, and Rast has the nut flush draw.
Yep.
Okay.
So pot's 615K. Turn is 6 of clubs. So it's 10-8, 4-6 with 2 diamonds. It goes check. Rast bets 440K. Machado calls.
That's
Pot-
like 2/3.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just over. So the pot is just under 1.5 million, and Rast only has 1.2 million. The river is the 6 of diamonds, giving Rast the flush and pairing the board. Machado checks. Rast bets 1 million, so 2/3, and Machado thinks for a while and calls. So let's hear your thoughts.
Okay, so just to clarify kind of what happened here, obviously this isn't as easy without visuals, but Rast rivers the nut flush. It's a paired board, so there's 2 6s out there, but he hits the nut flush, and then Machado calls all the way down with top pair, top kicker.
Yep.
Okay, so I mean, it seems pretty standard. It is the main event, though, and that's my analysis. All right. So we'll start pre-flop here, and also I first off want to apologize. I'm not sure if you guys can hear any background noise, but we're getting some new siding on the house, so a lot of construction going on here. There might be some pounding, some drilling, some whatever. So hopefully that doesn't bleed through into the mic. Yeah. So, anyways, pre-flop, Rast opens under the gun with ace deuce of diamonds.
+1, but yeah.
Under the gun +1. Excuse me. I would say this is probably near the bottom of my early position opening range, ace deuce suited here. I would probably be opening ace 10 off and up, and then ace deuce suited and up. Ace 9 off, I'd probably just toss into the muck. So that's I would say it's the best of my suited aces, or it's the worst of my suited aces, but it's the worst suited ace.
Good point.
So we'll go from.
You could
that.
argue that ace 6 suited is worse.
I suppose you're right, yeah, because you can't flop a straight with that hand. So he opens ace deuce of diamonds. Machado ends up flatting from the big blind with ace 10 suited. What do I think about the ace 10 suited flat from the big blind? So he's got 100 and almost 200 bigs. Rast has just under 40 bigs. I think, to me, this is just a pure flat with ace 10 suited. I'm never 3-betting this hand in this spot. I think that, and the reason I'm saying that is because Rast is in early position. We can assume Rast, being one of the best players in the world, has a pretty strong range opening from early position in the main event on 40 bigs. So we don't assume that he's just kind of going crazy here. And also, if we 3-bet and he jams, I guess we could just fold. But why not just see a flop with a suited ace? Ace 10 here. I'm curious I'm used to you butting in at this point.
I'm just gonna say and stuff.
Okay, yeah, So anyways.
You're an idiot.
That's what I feel better now. Ace 10 suited, he defends, okay? So the pot is now, what is the pot? It's 305K.
Yes.
305K is in the pot. The flop again is 10 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 4 of spades. Machado checks. Rast goes half pot with his nut flush draw here. This one I get stuck on a little bit. My post-flop sizings, I wouldn't say is my strongest game. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding. However, don't think I would go half pot here. I think I would go like 1.2 big blinds here, something like 70K. That's my plan. Is the c-bet small here, not inflate the pot. So anyways, there's a lot of reasons, but I'm gonna bet 70K here. And then with ace 10 of clubs, I'm pretty much just continuing calling. I don't plan on check raising at all with that hand. So he bets 155 and Machado calls. The turn is the 6 of clubs. My initial thought is that this card favors the big blind. Machado checks. If I were Rast in this spot, I think I would end up checking. The reasons I think I'm going to end up checking is to not inflate the pot and then also to pot control. My turn, having 40 big blinds in day 5 of the main, I would rather also just see the free river card and then go for value from that point if I get there. What ends up happening is Machado checks. Yep. Rast bets 440K into what's 615K, so 2/3 pot, and Machado calls. Now, Rast has 1.2 million back and the pot is 1.5 million. I'm assuming that Rast, if he bricks, is planning to jam as played here, going half pot, 2/3 pot, and having less than a 1-to-1 SPR. That's what my thought is.
It feels that way.
That's what I'm thinking. I think one of the reasons why I also don't like his turn bet of 2/3 pot and then leaving, less than a 1-to-1 SPR is that if he gets check jammed on, it's just disaster, right? He just doesn't get, he just has to fold the nut flush draw at this point. And then I think hands, with the 6 on the turn, the big blind's going to have a bunch of hands that he would check jam that wouldn't have raised the flop, like 7-9, 7-5, offsuit 7-9 probably, and maybe even 5-7 are both calling pre-flop in the big blind. 4-6 suited and 10-6 suited, which both, turn 2 pair. Mm-hmm. So I think those hands will probably check raise. And then we just have to fold our nut flush after putting like most of our chips in.
Yeah. Gross.
Right. So I don't like that at all. I think the benefit of betting 440K is that he might get an 8 to fold.
Yeah. Yeah. There's obviously some,
Yeah. So overall, I think I like checking here, checking back. Because I'm in position, I get to see the river for free. I don't have to worry about him betting or anything like that, right? Because I'm in position. So I can check back. We can get to the river. I can see if I whiffed or not, decide if I want to bluff or not. Anyways, he bets 2/3 and Machado calls. On the river, Machado, I keep forgetting his name, Machado checks, and then Ras bets 1 million of his 1.2 million behind, leaving 4 bigs behind. Mm-hmm. This, as played, this I like because essentially, if he is somehow bluffing here, he gives himself life if he gets called, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think about what bluffs he has here, and when I was going over the hand, I really struggled to think of almost any bluffs that he would have here as played. So I can see your thinking clearly, and we can hold on to these thoughts if you don't want to get into it further. But and then also the million, I think he's targeting getting value from specifically a 10 because I think
or like a 7-6, that.
Yeah.
Double gutter that, rivered trips type thing.
Well, he's not getting value from that hand. Oh, I mean on the river. Yeah. Okay, yeah, he is beating that hand on the river. He's got the flush. Yeah. Did I say that the river came 6 of diamonds bringing in the flush?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, good. So, yeah, Rast hits the flush. We're all over the place here. Rast hits the flush, and I don't know. I think with ace-10 suited, I think I'm just going to always find the call here, even though I'm not beating anything, I guess.
I'm curious about that.
Actually, I might not always find the call. The way I worded that's poor. When I was thinking about this hand, it's like I want to fold this hand, but it's just too strong to be at this point and then to fold after this much is in the pot. That's a tough spot with ace-10 suited. And another thing that I think the reason I think it's a tough spot is because I believe that Rast, if he even had Jack, Jack, Queen, Queen, King, King, Ace, Ace, are all going to value bet that same size. So those are more hands that he could have for value. And then again, what does he have for bluffs? Like Ace 5 of spades that turn to gutter?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the only one I can think of. So as played, I think I would have checked the turn and then realized my equity and then gone for value on the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. All right, so now I'm going to do the exact same thing you did and not really respond to anything you said quite yet, and then we'll just discuss the differences after. We get to, pre-flop, I think this is standard. Totally agree. I'm opening this hand. As big blind, I'm not 3-betting ace-10 suited against under the gun +1. Yeah, so we get to the flop, 10-8-4 with 2 diamonds. No reason to lead here for Machado. There aren't any, straights who could have flopped or anything, and Rast can have all the overpairs.
Yeah, hands that might be good to, not talking about what your thoughts are, but hands, he's saying if the flop was 4, 5, 6 or something like that.
Yeah, then there's an argument.
You can sometimes lead it from the big blind on those. Anyways.
Yeah. So Rast sizing, he went half pot. I actually do like the larger sizing because what kind of like I said, Rast will have all the overpairs and he can also have ace-10. So he'll have, and both players can have all the sets here. So Rast definitely has a range that wants to get more chips in. A lot of these, 10 high, 9 high, 8 high disconnected boards, meaning there isn't a made straight yet. A lot of the times here, it's good to bet on the larger side. Yeah, so I actually like the larger sizing here for Rast. I think there's actually an argument for checking back too. I would go either
with the nut flush draw.
Yeah, because you'll want to check back a lot of ace highs.
Sometimes you just have a ton of equity here too. Like you have the best hand with the flush draw.
Yeah, it's sort of a like pseudo trap in a way.
Yeah.
You're sort of protecting your, because you don't want to just only check back when you have ace and king high without a draw. So I wouldn't mind a check, but I do like his sizing here. If they were like 20, 25 big blinds deep, I would say Machado could go for a check raise to try and get it in here. But I don't, against the under the gun range, under the gun one range, I don't think getting in 38 bigs with top is that good of an idea.
Especially in the main.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and if Rask was on the button here where he could have a lot more 10x, like, right now Rask can have a 10, but it would have to be suited for him to play that way, or ace 10 off, which is chopping anyways. But let's say Rask was on the button and he could have like 10-9 offsuit, Jack 10 offsuit, which makes a lot more combos of worse 10x. Then I think Machado could go for a check raise even at this stack depth. But in this specific spot, definitely just call. So pot now is 615K, turn 6 of clubs. This is actually the sort of card that Machado could lead. I think we talked about this with Ryan LaPlante a bit, how like when a card comes that favors your range from the big blind, a lot of times you can lead. And
it's kind of like what I said when
exactly what you alluded to. Like Machado can have all 16 combos of 7-9 here, and he can have 5-7 here as well. And so there's a lot of straights that come in. So theoretically, at least, a lead could make some sense. With this specific hand, I actually don't know if we have too much benefit. I mean, we definitely will get some value, but we're not like, if we get raised, suddenly we're in a really difficult spot.
Agreed.
So I don't mind a check here at all. It was just kind of an idea that popped into my head. So check. Then Rask bets 440K, and my initial thought is this would suck to get. Like Machado's going to have a lot of combos of straights or two pair, and not to say that's most of his range, but he has just a ton of hands that won't fold. A lot of, if he had 6-7, that's not folding now. It's now double gutter with a pair. A lot of the straight draws turned a pair. He could have turned a straight. He could still have a 10, which isn't folding. Obviously, if he has like king 4 of hearts or something, that's going to fold. Like, this isn't a complete punt or anything by any means.
I agree.
But I think it's not... And, Rast is a great player, so there might be some other stuff going on here, but my thought is that we don't really want to bluff this hand, especially on this turn card. If the turn card was like an offsuit king,
because it's range favoring, right?
Yeah, I think I would prefer a bet there, because then we could get an 8 or maybe even a 10 to fold. Like right now, there's just a lot of stuff that we could have expected to fold out is not going to. Like a lot of like 8-9, 8-7, a lot of stuff picks up equity too. Overall, I'm just not a big fan of this bluff. That being said, I am a fan of the sizing. I think if you're going to bet this turn, whether it's as a bluff or value, I think you do need to take this larger sizing, planning on shoving or almost shoving the river as he ended up doing.
He kind of set up the SPR to do as such.
Yep. But if he gets jammed on here, he just has to fold the nut flush draw, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to Machado here. I mean, the pot is going to be 1.5 million about after the call, and there's another 1.2 behind. I actually we saw that he actually had a pretty bad river card, and he still called the river.
Should we just jam turn?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, there's a lot of equity to deny. We could get called by a worse 10 potentially. I'm not saying we necessarily should or shouldn't, but I think it's an idea. And in the moment, because I remember I saw this hand live and then I went back and watched it again. But my thought was, there is a good argument for check jamming here, especially if we give Rast credit for having these semi bluffs. I'm not necessarily. I'm very close on this one, and
Okay.
we can discuss it a little more after, because there's definitely merits to just calling two. But yeah, I could have gone either way on that one. Anyways, river 6 of diamonds, and now Machado checks mandatory, and then Rast goes 1 million. I do. Obviously, you have the nut flush, so he's going to try and get full value or close to. I think it's always a good idea in these spots to whether you're bluffing or value betting, leave yourself a little bit back, because the times you're bluffing and you get called, those few extra blinds or even that one extra blind will give you a lot more EV than winning an extra blind or two when you get called. And so, yeah, this sizing makes sense to me. As far as Machado, I actually felt like this was not a good call on his part. We don't beat value. Like, Rast is not going.
It's a pure bluff catcher.
It is a pure bluff catcher, and I just don't know what the bluffs are here. I mean, I'm sure there are some things that Rast could do this with, but if we think about what his bluffs were on the turn, obviously there's going to be some diamonds there, and then he's not going to have like Jack 9 offsuit here. So I mean.
Yeah, opening or under the gun one, yeah.
Yeah, and so my thought is, if Rast is going to be bluffing the river, he's probably going to do so only if he has one diamond in his hand. But how does he get, like...
How does he get to that far with one diamond in his hand? Exactly. It has to be ace 5 of diamonds.
That's a flush.
Which is a flush on the river, right?
Yeah, so it's like, I don't think he's going to take a hand without a diamond and bluff it. But I don't think he would have bluffed the turn with like King Queen offsuit or King Jack offsuit.
Yeah, triple, just to unload the clip with King Queen here on this run out is absolute disaster.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I know these great players are going to find a way to have some bluffs in these spots, but they're not perfect. And, you know, we do have a bluff catcher as with top pair, top kicker here. We're not beating, like, he's not going for value with King 10 suited here. I think we can pretty safely say that. Machado could have, 7-6 or 5-6 or 9-6 for, flop straight draw, turn pair, river trips. So I think the weakest value that Rast should have are the over pairs, but even those, he could run into a 6. So
yeah,
I really think Machado should really, he can have a 6. So obviously call with that. Obviously call if he rivered a flush or if he was slow playing a straight, or obviously jam if you have a boat. It's tough to. I mean, as far as pure bluff catchers, it is tough for me to be put in this spot and think about what hands I would actually bluff catch with, because it feels like this spot on the turn. The board on the turn favors our range as the big blind a lot. And so I'm already kind of wary of what bluffs does he have here?
Yeah.
And then when the diamond comes on the river, it's if he was bluffing the turn, a lot of those got there on the river. So I feel like this is just a spot where, we're going to be up against over pairs. We're going to be up against flushes. We're going to be up against, a boat, pocket eights or something.
I think, okay. So we definitely have a lot of overlap in this hand about the kind of in the same thought process, and also some differences.
Let's get into it.
Should we get into some of those?
Yeah.
So I think there's no need to talk about pre-flop. It's very standard.
Very standard.
He opens ace deuce of diamonds. I would as well. Machado flats ace 10 suited. I would also just flat here.
Yep.
Against an early position open. Against maybe say, without getting too far off topic here, if maybe cut off or button open, we can consider 3-betting these hands. But a conversation for another time. Or maybe one we've already had if you go check out our 3-betting episode.
Good plug.
There we go. So let's go to the first kind of difference we had, the flop sizing. So the flop is 4, 8, 10, 2 diamonds. We have the nut flush draw. Opponent has top. Why do you think half sizing is better than going small, like one to 1.5 bigs?
I think when we have value here, we're going to want to size up so that we can potentially get it all in by the river. I think this is a pretty dynamic board where we're going to have a lot of turn cards that change the.
Would we bet that same size with Ace King off?
I don't know. I don't know if we bet Ace King off.
So
here.
we're essentially just not. We're just playing our hand here essentially.
Well, I think this is a board where this isn't like a mandatory c-bet board, I guess is how I'd put it. Like, but when we come into these boards where we're not always betting, a lot of times you want to bet bigger when you do bet.
Okay.
There are some board, King Deuce rainbow board. You can just bet everything for like 20%.
Okay.
Yeah, here it's more of a let's not bet everything, but when we do, because
I mean, and it's kind of a wet board too, so we might as well charge the slew of draws that our opponent could definitely be calling from the big blind as well.
That's kind of the idea, is that the big blind is going to often hit this board in some way. So we don't just we want to charge when we do bet,
because even if we had aces, I mean, say we have aces here, we want to charge, we want to defend equity, we want to get value with it. So
exactly.
Okay. All right. Cool. So I like that. I agree with you.
Okay.
That's the only thing. Do you think there's ever a reason for Machado to check raise with ace 10 here suited? I said during my kind of analysis that I think this is pretty much a pure call.
Yeah, my thought was, so I agree. I would just always call this. I would check raise if Rast was short. If he had like 25 blinds, I'm like, okay, let's just get this in. Or if he was on the button, I would check raise for value, because then there's so many more like medium strength value hands that he can have where he just has to call us. Like he can have 10-9 off on the button, queen 10 off. He can have jack 8 suited, all sorts of stuff that's going to have to call the check raise. Whereas when he's under the gun, a lot of the stuff that is going to call us, we'll still beat some of it, but if we're looking to get in stacks, most of the stuff that he's getting it in with against us from that early position is probably going to have us beat. Whereas if he's on the button or something, he'll have a much wider range, and he'll have some hands that might want to bluff catch against us that we're actually beating.
So going to the turn here, I think we are pretty much on the same page.
Yeah.
I just want to I don't know. It seems like a kind of a suicidal spot to semi-bluff.
Yeah.
Especially with our specific hand where if we get check raise, we're just puking.
Yeah. No, I completely agreed with what you said. And I'm just not going to be betting a ton on like, if I'm going to bluff this turn, it's either going to be a semi-bluff that's so strong that I can call it off anyways.
You're calling it off, yeah.
Like a queen,
jack 9 of diamonds or something?
Yeah, jack 9, queen 9 of diamonds with, two flush draw and 2 straight draws and an over
and
card.
An over, yeah. Yeah. So where your equity, I mean, even against like top, you're still flipping or something?
Yeah.
Something, close equities, right.
Yeah. Or I'll do it with a hand that's, not actually that strong, where we don't have a ton of equity, and if we get check raised, folding isn't a disaster.
I do agree with you on, if I am bluffing here, my sizing would be sizing up 2/3. I might even go a little bit bigger than 2/3.
Yeah.
Well, considering, excuse me, considering Rass's stack size here, he only had 1.2 million after the 4. He had 1.64 to start
the bet.
Start before the bet. So, with his actual exact stack size, I do like the 2/3 pretty much exactly on. Sets up a good river jam size.
Yeah. Yeah, I think his sizing was good, and I think we agree that we don't really love the bet.
Yeah, and if we do, what are we trying to get the fold here on the turn? Like I said, an 8. I mean, that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, a 4. The problem is a lot of those will pick up gutters or double gutters.
On the 6.
Or,
yeah. Unless he straight up has like ace-6 or ace-4 or something like that, which he wouldn't call the flop typically with.
Not with ace-6, but ace-8 or ace-4 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he can also have like, king 8 suited, queen 8 suited. He could have like 4 deuce suited here. There's definitely some stuff that will fold.
Yeah. Okay.
But I just don't think it's enough. And, we're not applying pressure. Rast is the short stack here. Like, we're not applying pressure. If Machado completely doubles us up, he still has over 150 bigs. Like, he's not he's not going to overfold.
I really am curious what Rast would have done if he bricked the river.
I am too.
Yeah,
it almost feels like we got like cheated out of a really cool spot.
Yeah, I mean, and it might have been just boring. He might have just, whether he jams or whether he checks back. But I guess the benefit to betting here is setting up that SPR so we can just get max value if we do get it. But again, you're gonna what? You're not gonna hit that flush.
You're only gonna hit it like a fifth of the time.
Yeah, so I don't know. It seems I would rather just preserve that and then get value on the river if I hit it, or bluff if it's like the right card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the river comes a 6 of diamonds. You already discussed. I completely agree with you, and I kind of alluded that when I was talking through my decisions. But leaving a few big blinds behind. Let me ask you if. I feel like this might just be a rhetorical question, but say he bets 1 million with 1.2 or with 200K behind, and big blind jams.
Oh, I mean, you have to call.
You just have to call because he could just have sometimes a worse flush. Right?
Yeah. Like this is with the nut flush. It's reasonable to think that if Machado had a flush too, or maybe even if he backdoored into trips, like he'll just put the rest in to try and get us out of try and get value. Like if I don't think any of our value bets are going to fold. The 200K behind is purely if we're bluffing, we can leave it at, we can still have a few blinds left over.
So overall, I would say that we are pretty aligned on this hand specifically.
Yeah.
I think I'm curious because the next hand's got a lot of loops and weird turns. But
let's quick talk about Machado on the river here.
Okay. The bluff catching. I know, like I said earlier, I'm almost always calling here, but I also said like I'm not beating anything. So which is it, Max? Right? This is, I mean, call it a leak or whatever you might, but it's like getting to. I mean, it is the board does change pretty drastically with it being a 6 of diamonds.
Yeah, like so
And if we think our opponent is still betting jacks through aces here, as well as all flushes, like what bluff does he have? I mean, tell me if you can think of another hand besides maybe like ace 5 of spades where he flopped a backdoor flush draw, turned a gutter, and then just.
I would say maybe ace 7 suited where it's like a double gutter and then the 7 blocks both straights kind of thing.
Okay. So it's same idea though.
Yeah. And this would be a little different if
but that's like pretty much it, right? And then maybe king queen, but if that's suicidal, so probably
I would say
not.
like if he's opening queen jack offsuit in this position, queen jack with 1 diamond where he has a gutter, and that's the only one that really makes sense. But that's not that many combos, and I don't know if he's going to.
And if he's just going to do that day 5 of the main, like it seems. I mean, he might.
He might. Like I'm not saying there's zero chance ace 10 is ahead, but it's a bet of 1 million into 1.5. So we're getting 2.5 to 1. We need to be right like 29% of the time. Like of the time, do you really think like when you flick in the call here, are you expecting to win this pot 30% of the time? I'm not.
Let me ask you as well. Yeah, so I agree with you. I might just be a calling station and lose on the river here. And let me ask you: do you think Rast is going to play Jack 10 suited, Queen 10 suited, or King 10 suited like this?
I don't. I think once the river comes,
he'd probably just check that back, right?
Yeah, I don't think he can. If he makes that bet with those types of hands, he is mostly going to be called by hands that are
it's
better.
Real thin value.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to touch on that hand?
No.
Okay.
No, I think.
There's a couple things you sounded like an idiot about, but mostly I agree. Mostly I agree with you.
glad you can. The feeling's mutual, buddy.
All right. We got another hand here. One more. You want to do it?
Yeah. So this was the one that you picked out.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and read? You want me to read it?
Yeah. So you want to read through the hand and then.
Yeah, I'll read through the hand. You give me your thoughts. You ready?
Ready.
All right, so that one was day 5. This one is, I believe, the last level of day 1. 600 big blind is the last level of day 1,
That's
right?
correct, yeah. So
it's 300, 600, 600. This one's got Matthew Waxman, some Palmer guy, and then Arden Cho. Arden Cho, so this is interesting. Arden Cho limps under the gun with 10 of hearts and 10 of clubs. So pocket 10s, heart club on 143K. She's like one of the day one chip leaders probably at this point. I mean, she's over 200 bigs deep.
Yeah. Now, she was the one who, because I remember she was interviewed after this day, and I think she was crushing it, but she was more of an amateur.
Yeah, she's an amateur, but she's been playing a lot lately. I've seen her on a few different televised streams and things like that.
Yeah.
I think she does some studying with some professionals as well. So she's been, she's relatively new from my understanding, but has put in a lot of effort thus far, and it seems pretty decent from there.
Good.
I'll say something about the end of this hand that I thought was super hilarious. It was a little thing between her and Waxman that they said afterwards. But anyways, so Arden Cho limps under the gun with the pocket tens on 143K. Palmer opens to 1.8K in mid position with ace jack of spades on 80.9K. So he 3Xs it from middle position. Matt Waxman, it folds to Matt Waxman. And he's been a reg for a long time, a professional regular. He 3-bets to 6K from the big blind with ace king of clubs and both call. The pot's 18.9K. The flop comes 5 of clubs, 4 of diamonds, jack of clubs. So Arden has second pair, Palmer has top pair, top kicker, and Waxman has 2 overs with the nut flush draw. He had the ace king of clubs. Mm-hmm. Waxman, so he 3-bet. He c-bets 8.5K. Cho calls and Palmer folds.
I just wanted to confirm that was right. So he just folds top after.
He folds top.
Okay.
We'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
The pot is 35.9K, and the turn is the 7 of diamonds. Waxman bets 12.5K with 42.5 behind, and Cho jams. Waxman folds.
Man, there's a lot to go over here.
We gotta break down a lot here. So go ahead and give us your thoughts, Mr. West.
Yeah, and just to confirm on the river, with 42.5K behind, that's after the 12.5?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, cool. So
according to the
graphics.
TV, the graphics.
Okay. So let's start with this under the gun play here. Pocket tens. Definitely want to just raise it up.
Yeah.
14, 15, 1300, whatever your preferred size. I don't really.
Or 12.
Or 12.
Knowing me. The min clicker. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to. You have a strong hand. You want to get chips and you want to.
You also want to defend your equity a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not really looking to play 6 ways. I mean, it's fine if you do. But yeah, just. I don't have a limping strategy unless it's from the small blind. So definitely prefer a raise here, but we won't dwell too much on it. So Palmer decides to 3X with ace jack suited with 100, almost 140 bigs.
Yeah, they're extremely deep here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would actually prefer even slightly larger.
Okay, because of the under the gun limper.
Yeah. With, my normal size here would be 1,400, but with a limper, I would actually add more than a big blind just because they're saying they have a playable hand. So I would maybe make it 22, 24, 2,500, but not a big deal. I mean, I think this is good too. Waxman, ace king suited. Again, I would actually like a bigger size here. He raises to 6K. And, facing 1.8K, I would prefer something more like 7,500 here. But I think it's a mandatory 3-bet with the ace king suited. Now, this is super awkward for Cho under the gun here with tens. I mean, I'm not really going to advocate for limping then cold calling a 3-bet with action still open behind you. If you're going to do it, though, I think a hand like 9s, 10s, ace queen suited makes some sense to do it with.
Yep.
Still super deep. The one problem is Palmer still has the ability to 4-bet. Like he could have,
which would suck it. Yeah, but I mean it's so deep you could call it. I mean she has. Sorry, I won't get too involved, but she has 143K. It's calling 6K to set mine with implied value.
Yeah, if calling the 6K, the only downside is like Palmer with 80K to start could make it like 18 or 20K behind, and that's when it gets dicey. But okay, and then closing the action, Palmer with ace jack suited. I think closing the action in position definitely a good hand to call. Although it's already kind of dicey where we're expecting to be in bad shape against somebody's hand. Probably Waxman because he could 3-bet here, but and we can see that is the case. But all right, we'll get to the flop here. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of thoughts here. So pot of 18.9K, 5-4 jack with 2 clubs. So Waxman has the nut flush draw. He bets 8.5K into 18.9, a little under half pot. I think there are arguments to go either, like you could go for a check here with a plan to check raise, which multi-way sounds pretty cool because you could get some, if you're trying to fold out something good, I think that actually shows more strength than a c-bet here. Obviously, I mean, he doesn't need to get a fold. He has 2 overs in the nut flush draw. His hand has a ton of equity. I think if you're going to c-bet, though, I don't mind just going a little smaller because the hands you're going to try and fold out, like a lot of the under pairs that might fold, I think they're going to react the same way to like 6K that they are to 8.5K. You know, the sizing isn't a big deal here. I might prefer just going for a check raise 3 ways here, but I also think the bet is fine. Cho with the call. I mean, this is already with another player. You already have someone who 3-bet pre and then c-bet into 2 other players. I'm actually, if this is heads up, it's an easy call with 10s, but this feels like we're already in a pretty dicey spot because I don't know that Waxman is just going to c-bet here with ace king if it's not with the flush draw. And I think a lot of the hands he's going to 3-bet and then c-bet into 2 players, it's going to just be a lot of overpairs or hands like this that have a ton of equity. And that's not even accounting for Palmer behind us.
Yeah, being completely out of position. I agree.
Yeah. I lean towards folding this. I don't think calling once is a total disaster, but I actually think it's a bit of a mistake. I also think folding ace-jack suited here is a mistake too. I mean, I get it. And a lot of what I had just said about Waxman having a lot of overpairs here also applies to Palmer, to be fair. But the difference is that, 1, he's closing the action. 2, he has, if he's up against kings or queens, he has 5 outs instead of 2. And he's not necessarily, like, Cho needs to be worried about Palmer behind her, but Palmer is probably not as worried about Cho's range because she could actually have a worse jack or something. And so I think he's getting roughly 4-1 closing the action in position here. I think yeah. I don't quite understand.
He made a comment. He said,
okay.
He said something. It was something along, not verbatim, but along the lines of, "This can't be the best hand here."
Yeah, I get it. I definitely get it. I think getting 4-1 closing the action. I would agree that I'm actually expecting to not be ahead over half the time by any means.
But you're getting the right odds to make a profitable call.
Yeah. And the thing is, if we are ahead, I'm not expecting Waxman to just blast off bluffing into 2 other players.
We can just reevaluate the turn.
Yeah, if the turn is, so the turn actually does come as 7 of diamonds. If we had called and it went 3 ways of the turn and he bets big again, then I'm actually almost certainly folding because then I'm expecting to only be up against overpairs. But so I have a lot to say about everyone's play, and most of it I'm not really loving so far. So anyways, he folds. Turn is 7 of diamonds. The pot is 35.9K. Waxman at this point, so he bets 12.5K. So he had 55K to start the turn here. He bets 12.5K, which is like a third pot roughly. I get it. It sets up a, if he gets called, the pot is going to be about 60 and he'll have 42.5. So he'll have a good, 70% jam spot on the river. This does put pressure, if he correctly assumes that Cho will have pairs that are weaker than a jack. like I would expect this to fold out 10s, 9s, 8s, 6s, maybe ace 5 suited. And honestly, even with a jack here, if Cho had like any sort of jack, it's a really tough spot because I think Waxman, kind of as I alluded to earlier, should only have over pairs. Like he should be very strong when he's betting into 2 players on the flop and then continues to barrel this turn.
Yeah.
Like he's not, his bluffs are only going to be strong draws.
Yeah. High equity bluffs. Yeah.
I don't think, I would expect ace king or ace queen without any, or even like king queen. He can 3-bet wider from the big blind, but I would expect a lot of it to just give up the flop if it didn't have a lot of equity. So yeah, I don't mind it at all. I will say, like, when Cho calls the flop, it does feel like this turn isn't going to change much, but I think in general, I think this is going to set up the right river jam. And so Cho decides to jam, and I think this is not good. 2 10s here, jack high board. I mean, kind of the same thing I've said. Waxman should have a ton of overpairs here that were just
it's suicidal.
It feels suicidal, and yet it just works. And so at this
Waxman
point,
folds.
Yeah, and honestly, at this point, Waxman, the pot is. So he's getting about 2.5 to 1 on a call. So he'll need to win 28, 29% of the time, kind of the same as we came up with last hand. But he now against this specific hand, pocket 10s, he actually is getting the right price. But there are a couple things to consider. One, are we going to call off our main event life with a draw here? Probably not. Two, he probably expects to just be up against the set a decent amount of the time because why else,
So that kills 6 of his outs.
Yeah, so he'll, actually even 8 of them because 2 of the clubs are board pairs now.
Boats, yeah.
So if he's expecting to be up against the set a decent amount, or even if it's ace-jack, like maybe it's ace-jack and there goes 3 of his outs anyways with the ace. Like, as gross as it seems, I actually think the fold makes sense here.
I agree. I agree. We'll get into that. It's funny. So just a little information about what happened on the actual video here. He kept like pressuring her, like, "What did you have? What did you have on camera?" And she goes, "Pocket 10s." And he like gets the most disgusted look on his face ever, and he goes, "You're a psychopath."
Yeah.
And she goes, "No, I'm not." She's like, "That's norm. Like I played it normally."
Yeah.
Something along the lines of that. That's yeah. I thought that was kind of funny though.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're a psychopath."
Yeah. So as a summary, I think Cho pretty much played every street wrong from how I feel about it. Waxman, I think, had some interesting decisions. I don't think he made any real mistakes, but
yeah. And then Palmer,
I think, made a mistake.
You shouldn't, if you're calling. Here, we'll go over mine, and then we'll talk about this.
Let's hear what your analysis.
So Arden Cho limps under the gun with 10s. I agree with Wes. I'm just going to click it here. 12 to 1400 seems just completely fine, or 1500, whatever size you want to go. Just something a little over 2 big blinds. Palmer opens in middle position, 3 big blinds with ace jack suited. Wes says you can go bigger here. I think initially I would just go 3x, just kind of just my standard. But I agree with them going a little bit. Knowing that our under the gun opponent probably isn't going to fold here, we might as well. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe that gives me more incentive to not make it too big to inflate after we see the flop. Anyways, we'll get into that. Then Matt 3 bets from the big blind with ace king of clubs. He makes it 6K after, what is it, a 600 limp, a 1.8K open, and then 6K. I think this is way too small from out of position. So in position, this might be a good sizing. I might even still go a little bit bigger with 3 players in there. Heads up, I think 6K in position is good. I think I would go somewhere between like 7.5 and like 9.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're just out of position. And I mean, it'd be nice to try and get this pot heads up as well. And I think sizing up might help with that. They both end up calling. The pot's 18.9K. Matt flops the nut flush draw. I did not think about this, and I'm familiar with this play, but I did not think about it when reading over this hand. The check raise with the ace king of clubs here, because you're just repping all over pairs, sets, etc. I really like the playing this hand that way. However, if I were to just c bet, which was my initial thought, this might, again, this is one. I'm not very good in multi-way pots when there's 3 players. If it was heads up, I know I would probably bet like 1.8 big, or well, no, I'd bet like a quarter pot or so, just because it's a pretty dry board. Besides the flush draw being out there in a 3-bet pot, it's 4-5 jack. Yeah, it's just a pretty dry board overall. So they both end up calling. Waxman leads.
They both called pre-flop.
They both called. Yeah, sorry, I got ahead of myself here. So on the flop, Matt leads. What's he leads?
8.5.
He leads 8.5. There we go. He leads 8.5. Cho calls. Again, I agree with you. I think tens here, not closing the action, not having position. If it were heads up, I would find the call here. But knowing that the opponent behind me opened the pot and has position on me, I might just fold tens here, not thinking it's the best hand. I mean, yeah, I think I might just fold here. So she calls, and now I kind of see why he feels like he doesn't have the best hand and makes that statement. However, this hand is just far too strong to call this pre-flop action, get this flop, and then just fold. I mean, if you're going to fold on this flop, you might as well just fold pre-flop.
Kind of my thought, but
yeah.
we'll discuss after.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. So anyways, he ends up folding the best hand. And actually, now that I think about it, he would have had the best hand at the end of the hand, wouldn't he have?
Yeah, unless the river changed.
And I'm willing to bet that if he ended up calling, Matt might not double barrel here, being with 3 players in the pot. It's easier for him to double barrel heads up than it is against 3 players. So he folds. Turn is the 7 of diamonds. Waxman bets 12.5K with 42.5K, and Cho somehow finds a jam here. I don't know if this. Here's the thing. This is complete suicide. I would never play this hand this way, but I don't argue against people who are intuitive type players. Like if her gut is screaming to her, if her intuition is screaming to her, like I feel like he is just on a big draw here, I might just listen to it. I mean, it goes against theory and deep thought, right? Like, let's think about what his range should be here. It should be all over pairs, and then, like you said, high equity hands like ace king suited that has a flush draw, something like that. And there's way more combinations of over pairs than there are of suited overs, right? So, I would not have found this play. I wouldn't even made it to this turn with pocket tens. I would have folded on the flop, and she somehow finds the jam. And then as Waxman here, I'm just going to fold. I know you're getting the odds against her specific hand, but like you said, she can have. We never expect her to have tens here. First off,
yeah.
And so I just to put our tournament life on the line with one card to come, even if we have just like 50% equity, and he still has what 42.5K behind at 600 big blind. So like he's still extremely deep. I think, I find the fold here as well, and Cho somehow magically wins this pot.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to continue to play hands like that, you're going to find yourself in too many difficult positions too frequently in Arden's shoes.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think, so pre-flop, we agree pretty much. We want to size up the 3-bet as Waxman. We don't want to play this way as Cho. Flop, yeah, I actually kind of liked what you said about the smaller, because I mentioned the check raise from the big line, but I didn't really. I guess I'd said maybe c-bet 6K, but I actually like the idea of going even smaller, because you said if it was heads up, you'd bet like quarter pot.
Yeah,
and multi-way, you actually should be betting smaller too, because people, for example, like pocket tens here, if it's heads up, it's a snap call, but multi-ways in this sort of iteration, the tens, nines, eights, all those hands might just have to fold anyways with someone behind. So I like your idea of, if we're going to c-bet, just go quarter pot or something.
Yeah, and I guess there's also something to be said, especially if we know our opponent's playing like Arden is here, to exploit and size up for that reason.
Yeah.
Because maybe she's not folding. Maybe she is folding tens to a 2/3. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know, just a thought. So
yeah, and like with this hand with 2 cards to come, we don't necessarily need to get if we just get called with this hand for a quarter pot, we're not like upset about it.
This kind of triggered a random thought of exploiting c-bet sizings that I've been doing recently. But like on specific boards when I have air, but the range favors me, instead of betting small like I typically would against like better opponents, I've been sizing up my c-bets as if like I'm scared to get drowned out on.
So you have as if you have a big hand and you're like, I'm going with it.
Yeah,
but really
exactly.
It's
It's just a bluff, yeah. And it seems to have worked a lot lately. I don't know. It's just something I've been kind of toying around with.
Yeah.
And it
Better not do it against me.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If you see me go 2/3 as a C bet, just know it's a bluff.
I mean, if you and I are playing heads up, I know it's pretty much always a bluff anyways.
Oh, wait. Okay. Anyways, I was going to talk shit, but let's keep moving on here.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the flop, we both have both of our ideas I like better than this kind of medium large sizing of just under half pot. And I think we both agree generally that we would probably fold the tens and probably call the ace jack suited. Now, again, like the ace jack suited, I'm not even expecting to be good half the time here, but we're getting 4-1. We only need to win 20% of the time.
Yeah. And if we hit a jack or ace, I mean, sometimes we're ahead. And if we hit a jack or an ace, like we have massive implied value.
Yeah, and even if we don't, let's say the turn is the 7 as it is. I think we're actually going to be we're going to get pretty good information. Like, I don't think Waxman is going to keep barreling with this hand multi-way.
Yeah,
and even if he does,
same thing,
it's kind of like the one combo he's going to bluff with. If he bets the turn into 2 players again, then I think our jack is never good. If he checks, then we can be almost certain we're ahead of him.
And most of the time against Arden too.
Yeah, against Arden, I think will be
for her to limp under the gun and then just call a raise with like queens. It's so weird.
Yeah, it could happen.
It could, but
anyways,
I mean, she's doing it with tens, right? So
yeah, I think the combination of we're good some of the time and those times that we're good, I don't think we're gonna get blown off the hand that much.
If it checks you on the turn and you're still in the hand with ace jack suited here, are you gonna bet?
I probably will because
I think so too.
I still could have sets. And I mean, this is quite a strong hand. Like, I probably will bet and then check back some rivers, but
all right, okay,
yeah.
Right.
So I think we're generally in line on the turn, or sorry, on the flop. On the turn, yeah, I think we agree as well.
But I think we agree on most of this hand. My goal is just to see if I can get you to admit that you liked one of these really stupid ass plays. I mean, Waxman played this hand well. Sizings I don't agree on quite, especially pre-flop. It was just a little bit too small out of position. But Matt Waxman is like a very good professional, so he might have his reasons for doing it. I'm not sure what they are.
Yeah, let me put it this way: between Waxman and Rast from the last hand, the two guys who we know are really good pros. Out of those two guys, the play I like the least is Rast's turn bet with the ace deuce of diamonds.
Yeah, betting 2/3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, if you just get blasted off that hand and you check rips it, you're just crying.
Yeah. To be fair, that is what happens to Waxman here.
Yeah,
he does bet with,
and he has to fold his massive drop, but with I mean, he had even more equity than Rast did.
Okay, so maybe
that's a great. I didn't even realize that, but you're right.
Maybe that is an argument for. Maybe we need to think about that more because he did get blown off his hand. So maybe there is an argument to just
check it here.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, good catch there. I like that. So okay.
Yeah, I think the difference is this isn't the sort of board where Arden should have like 2 pair or anything or a straight. So we're kind of
she could just have like queen 10 of clubs too.
Yeah, and so we're not necessarily as worried about getting jammed on. So I think that is the difference where Waxman has a good reason to not feel like he's going to get jammed on as much. Whereas I think Rast actually should be more afraid of that in his spot. But yeah, maybe there is an argument for playing it differently as Waxman. It is a tough spot. I mean, these multi-way 3-bet pots out of position, it's never easy unless you just get there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
Well, unfortunately, and just for the reason why we didn't want Ras to bet the turn, Waxman didn't get to realize his equity.
The other difference that I think is important is Rast was in position, so he could check back and see a free river. Waxman is out of position, so
yeah, maybe that's an incentive to bet as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you never expect tens to just rip it here, especially in the main. Like, what a wild woman. I love his response. So he's like, "You're a psychopath."
Yeah. It is so funny, though. And it's important to remember that, like, people think about the game so differently. And I think as a pro myself, it is easy to get stuck in this mindset of, like,
people have to play the way you study it.
Yeah. Or, like, even if I know they're going to play a bit differently, not realize, if I'm thinking they'll play like 5% differently, they play like 80%. They can play so much differently and have such a different perception of.
That's why I don't have that fold button, Wes. It's because people just do the weirdest stuff. But I think that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I think, again, us two specifically might not be the ideal two people to kind of explain our differences, because we relay a lot of
geniuses.
Yeah, exactly. We relay a lot of information off each other, and I think we both learned a lot from each other. And we've kind of adapted our styles to kind of we have a lot of similar baselines, I should say. Mm-hmm. I think hand one was kind of standard. Number two was just off the rails all around. And
honestly, some of you guys listening, like, tell me this second hand doesn't sound a bit like something that would happen level 2 of a Canterbury Daily.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you'd call with the ace king of clubs then.
Yeah. You wouldn't fold there. And then you'd hit the rebuy line. Again, it's the main event. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. It's funny how fast time flies when we're recording.
Yeah.
And just talking poker. I love that. So, guys, if you haven't yet, if whatever streaming service you're listening on, whether it's Spotify or Apple, please give us a 5-star review. That helps us get to the top of search bars when people search things like poker or poker strategy. Anyways, it helps them find our podcast, and that support is very welcome. So please give us a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that. Even feel free to leave a text review on any of those streaming sites. You can actually now, I believe on Apple and Spotify, send us a direct message to our email. It's a fan mail feature that we've opened up. Unfortunately, we cannot reply to it, but we can see what you say. And we've gotten a bunch of that, and we really love seeing it. So if you want to send us a message, feel free to do that. If you want to talk to us directly, reach out to us on Twitter, reach out to us.
Don't ever talk to me directly.
Okay, not Wes. You got to pay him to talk to him, but for me, it's free. So, whether it be in person at a tournament, through Twitter, or even on Discord.
Yeah, I've had people reach out in Discord Messenger, and definitely feel free to do that.
Yeah. And then just a couple plugs. If you want to buy or sell a house, holler at me. If you want some poker coaching one-on-one, holler at Wes.
Yeah. And if you want to play some fun poker with people in the group, click that Clubs Poker link, join Clubs Poker. Yeah. Get in there for the meetup game. Get in there for
next Tuesday. Yeah, next
Tuesday,
some other August. What was it? What was the date?
The 13th.
August 13th, Tuesday. Hop in. We're gonna have a Suited Kings tournament and a ring game going. Make sure to sign up using our affiliate link to help support the podcast. And then we'll use some of that money to start making merch.
There we go.
Let's do it. All right, guys.